game.
There is no more happily ever after in Fabeltown, a not-so-magical part of New York City, inhabited by some of the most iconic characters ever to grace the pages of our favourite fairy tales.
105 today again if you missed it, a record for the date. Hottest ever in June, 103 now, and that humidity looks low, but remember, the hotter the air is, the more moisture it can hold.
Leave me alone!
I'll see you around.
Once living in 1,000 separate kingdoms spread over 100 magic worlds, characters such as Snow White, Ichabod Crane, Beauty and her Beast, and Mr. Toad are now just trying to survive day to day.
There are fables that are struggling worse than I'd imagined.
They escaped Neverland following an event known as the Exile.
The Wolf Among Us is adapted from Bill Willingham's Fables comic book series. And along with the story, this distinctive art style really draws you in. You play Bigby Wolf, famous for his former huffing and puffing habit, but he's now reformed and has become the sheriff of Fabeltown, in charge of keeping order amongst the fairy tale community.
Bigby is about as film noir as you can get. He smokes, he frowns, he even has the tiny, messy apartment with nothing in the fridge.
Why do I even own this?
Yet beneath all that is a very capable and intelligent character who just wants to keep peace in his community.
Yes, until you get him angry, and you won't like him when he's angry. Bigby's skills of deduction and the delicate political balance of Fabeltown are put to the test when a particularly gruesome murder seems to send a message. And so begins your investigative adventure.
This chapter, titled Faith, is the first of 5 which will be released over the next few months. It's a good setup and introduction to a world that has depth and is quite interesting. I have to say, I'm not big into the whole urban fairy tale setting, but I liked these characters have to deal with real-world problems like alcoholism and financial hardship.
Yeah, me too. And this is from Telltale, who did the Walking Dead series. And while I am a fan of that series now, I still think their first episode wasn't very strong. But with The Wolf Among Us, I think Telltale has learned from that experience and given this a stronger hook to pull you through. It's a mystery that I need to see resolved.
Yeah, I think having that crime to solve will definitely keep players coming back for each new episode. You really do play the investigator, looking around, picking up on little details and building a list of suspects.
You sound so sure that he's guilty.
I don't know if he is. That's why I need to talk to him.
Like all good mysteries, there's even a plot point you don't see coming.
As much as I enjoyed the story though, Hex, I do still struggle with this type of gameplay. I just have a limit with this kind of thing, and Telltale always know exactly how to push that limit. That fixed camera position, the interaction wheel, and the quick time events just get a bit frustrating. So I'm glad this is delivered in just 2-hour chunks. I just personally don't think I could spend a whole weekend playing a game like this.
Yeah, I don't really have a problem with it. I think for this kind of storytelling, the devs have made the right choice. And there's just something about solving a whodunit with a point-and-click mechanic that just works so well.
Fingerprints?
They'll be on the grip and the trigger.
I played through this a few times just to see how my choices affected the story, and the smallest decisions really do make a difference.
There are some big moments in this game, which I liked, but once again, just because of the interaction you have with it, I didn't feel that involved in what was going on. Chasing a suspect where your only action is to duck left or right, or spamming A repetitively to push someone off you just didn't build the suspense in the way I think they were hoping to. But it does look great, and those big bold colours and the shadows and lines are just beautiful. I do wish it ran a bit smoother though. We played this on 360, and it's only a small download. But it just seemed to stutter along a bit, and the loading times were long enough for me to go take bathroom breaks.
Hey, stop!
Yeah, I will agree with you there. It can break the flow a little when you're deep into conversation with Snow White or Mr. Toad, making decisions and listening closely, and then there's that awkward pause where you're just looking at each other.
If you're gonna say something, out with it.
Wait.
You know, that kind of thing just pulls you out of the moment.
The performances are so strong though. I think the voice acting here is better than all of the Walking Dead games. They all just sound like how you imagine when you read the comics.
You're not as bad as everyone says you are.
But we should wrap this up. Final thoughts, Hex?
Man, Telltale just keep getting better and better at creating point-and-click adventure games. I'd even go so far as to say they're leading the industry in this genre. I'm giving it 8.5.
Yeah, I think they're getting much better at them with each iteration, but I still feel like they're just a bit too passive for me to completely connect, so I'm giving it 7.
While we're on the subject of point-and-click, Goose takes a look at one of its all-time great characters.